The blizzard struck without warning, turning the mountain pass into a treacherous white void, as Zara Evans gripped her steering wheel with manicured fingers that had never known real hardship. The CEO of Pinnacle Technologies had been advised against taking the shortcut through Pinecrest Valley to reach her ski resort meeting. But Zara wasn't accustomed to following other people's advice, only giving it. 20 million in acquisitions, and I can't even navigate a simple snowstorm, she muttered, peering through her windshield as her luxury SUV slid sideways. The vehicle's tires lost their battle with the ice beneath, sending her into a graceful spin before coming to rest against a snowbank. The engine sputtered once, twice, then died with an expensive whine. Zara tried her cell phone again. No service. The temperature inside the vehicle was already dropping, and night would fall soon. Wearing only her designer suit beneath her wool coat, she knew hypothermia would become a real threat. The nearest town was 15 miles back, and her GPS had stopped working 20 minutes ago. Just as panic began to set in, headlights cut through the wall of snow. An old but sturdy pickup truck pulled alongside her stranded vehicle. The driver's window rolled down, revealing a man with kind eyes and a weathered face. "Need some help?" he called over the howling wind. "My car slid off the road," Zara replied, trying to maintain her composure despite her rising relief. The man nodded. "I'm Hank Edwards." "Hop in before you freeze. This storm's getting worse by the minute." 10 minutes later, Zara sat in the passenger seat of Hank's pickup, her hands gratefully wrapped around a thermos of coffee he'd provided. The truck's heater worked better than it looked like it should, and country music played softly from the speakers. "I appreciate the rescue," she said. "I was beginning to think I might be spending the night in my car. Nobody should be out in this. I was just heading home from picking up supplies when I spotted your car." Hank navigated the treacherous road with practiced ease. "My place is about 3 miles ahead. You can stay there until the storm passes and we can get your car out. I really need to get to Alpine Ridge Resort." "I have an important meeting. Madam, nobody's getting to Alpine Ridge tonight. The pass is completely closed now. Radio says this storm's dumping 3 inches an hour." Zara sighed, knowing he was right. She'd have to call and reschedule, assuming she could even get a signal. "I'm Zara, by the way. Zara Evans." Hank glanced over, a flash of recognition crossing his features. "From Pinnacle Technologies." That's right. She was used to being recognized. Her face had been on the cover of Business Weekly twice in the past year. "My daughter did a school report on you last month, Women Changing the Business World. She'll be pretty excited I met you." Zara smiled despite her predicament. "How old is your daughter?" "Lily's 10, smart as a whip." Pride filled his voice. "It's just the two of us." The truck turned onto a snow-covered driveway leading to a modest cabin nestled among towering pines. Warm light glowed from the windows, and smoke curled from the chimney. "Home, sweet home," Hank said, bringing the truck to a stop. "It's not fancy, but it's warm and safe." As they trudged through the deepening snow to the front door, it flew open. A young girl with her father's eyes and long brown hair tied back in a ponytail stood in the doorway. "Dad, you're late. I was getting worried." The girl stopped mid-sentence, her eyes widening at the sight of Zara. "Lily, this is Miss Evans. Her car got stuck in the storm. She'll be staying with us tonight." Lily's jaw dropped. "Zara Evans? The Zara Evans? Dad, she's the lady from my report." Despite her exhaustion and frustration at the derailed plans, Zara couldn't help but smile at the girl's enthusiasm. "It's nice to meet you, Lily." The cabin was small but surprisingly cozy. A living room with well-worn furniture faced a stone fireplace where a fire crackled cheerfully. The kitchen was tiny but spotlessly clean, and the enticing smell of something homemade filled the air. "I made chili, Dad," Lily announced proudly. "There's plenty for Miss Evans, too." "That sounds wonderful," Zara said, realizing suddenly how hungry she was. "Let me get you something dry to wear," Hank offered, eyeing her soaked designer clothes. "They'll be a bit big, but they'll be warm." 20 minutes later, Zara sat at the Edwards kitchen table wearing a flannel shirt and sweatpants that engulfed her slender frame, her feet warm in thick wool socks. The chili was delicious, hearty with beans and beef, and the cornbread served alongside was homemade. "This is excellent, Lily," she said sincerely. "You're quite the chef," the girl beamed. "Dad taught me. He says everyone should know how to cook." "Your dad is right." Zara glanced at Hank, who was focused on his meal. There was something compelling about him, a quiet confidence that didn't need to announce itself. After dinner, Zara helped clear the dishes despite Hank's protests. "Please, it's the least I can do," she insisted. "Besides, I'm not used to sitting idle." "Dad says idle hands are the devil's workshop," Lily piped up. Hank laughed. "I think I was talking about your video game time when I said that." As Lily settled in to finish her homework, Zara finally managed to get a signal on her phone. She stepped into the small guest room Hank had prepared for her and made several calls, rescheduling her meetings and assuring her assistant she was safe. When she emerged, she found Hank sitting by the fire, whittling a small piece of wood. "Everything okay with work?" he asked, not looking up from his carving. Zara sat in the chair opposite him. "As well as can be expected. Thank you again for taking me in. Anyone would have done the same." "No," she said with certainty. "They wouldn't have." His hands stilled on the carving. "Tough day even before the storm, huh?" Something about his direct gaze made it impossible to maintain her usual corporate facade. "Let's just say I'm more accustomed to dealing with sharks than snowstorms." "Sounds exhausting." "It can be." She watched his hands resume their work, transforming a simple piece of pine into what appeared to be a small animal. "What are you making?" "Fox. Lily collects them." He held up the half-finished carving. "Saw a real one out back yesterday. Beautiful creature." "You're very talented." He shrugged. "Just a hobby. Keeps my hands busy in the winter." "What do you do? For work, I mean." "I'm a carpenter. Custom furniture mainly, some contracting work. Nothing as impressive as running a tech empire." "It sounds very tangible," Zara said. "You create something real." "Sometimes I feel like I just move numbers around a screen." Hank smiled. "But those numbers build things, create jobs, change lives. Sometimes they just make rich people richer." She surprised herself with the admission. They talked for another hour, the conversation flowing naturally from work to life philosophies to favorite books. Hank was more well-read than she'd initially assumed, and his perspectives on things challenged her in ways boardroom debates never did. Eventually, Lily called from her room, asking for her dad to say goodnight. Zara watched as Hank excused himself, returning 10 minutes later with a soft smile. "She wanted to know if you'd still be here in the morning." "I think she has about 50 questions she wants to ask you for a follow-up report," Zara laughed. "I'd be happy to answer them." "You don't have to. I know you're busy." "It's fine, really. She's delightful." A comfortable silence fell between them, broken only by the crackling of the fire. Zara found herself studying Hank's profile, the strong line of his jaw, the crinkles at the corners of his eyes that spoke of laughter and outdoor work. "What happened to Lily's mother?" The question slipped out before she could stop it. "I'm sorry, that's personal." "You don't have to, it's okay," Hank said. "Sarah and I divorced when Lily was 4. She wasn't ready for motherhood, decided small-town life wasn't for her. She lives in Chicago now, calls Lily on birthdays, sends Christmas gifts. That must be hard for Lily." It was, at first. "But kids are resilient. We've built a good life." He looked at Zara. "What about you? Anyone waiting for you back in the city?" "No, just a cat named Chairman who my housekeeper is probably spoiling rotten right now." She smiled. "Work has always been my priority. Relationships seemed complicated." "They are," Hank agreed, "but most worthwhile things are." The next morning, Zara woke to the smell of coffee and bacon. For a moment, she was disoriented by the rustic wooden ceiling above her and the homemade quilt covering her. Then she remembered the snowstorm, the rescue, the evening spent in conversation that had felt more genuine than any she'd had in years. She found Hank and Lily in the kitchen, making breakfast together with the easy coordination of a long-established routine. "Good morning," Lily chirped. "Dad made his famous pancakes. They're just regular pancakes," Hank corrected with a smile, "but I do add a secret ingredient. Cinnamon," Lily Stage whispered to Zara. "It's not really a secret." Breakfast was delicious, and afterward, Lily did indeed have a list of questions for Zara about running a business. Zara found herself enjoying the girls' curiosity and insightful questions. "The storm's easing up," Hank announced after checking outside. "Road crews should have the main roads cleared by noon. We can check on your car then." "I should call a tow service," Zara said, reaching for her phone. "No need. My buddy Marco runs the local garage. I already called him. He'll meet us there and pull your car out." "Might need some work before it's drivable, though." True to his word, by early afternoon they were at Zara's SUV. The vehicle had suffered some damage in the slide off the road, a cracked axle that would take several days to repair. "I can have a car sent from Denver," Zara said, already typing on her phone. "In this weather, the passes are still dicey," Marco warned. "Might be better to wait it out a couple days." Zara hesitated, torn between her responsibilities in the city and the unexpected pull she felt toward staying longer. "I suppose I could work remotely for a few days." "You're welcome to stay with us," Hank offered, then quickly added, "or there's the Pinecrest Inn in town if you'd prefer." "Dad, she has to stay with us," Lily insisted. "I still have more questions, and you promised to show her your workshop." Hank gave Zara an apologetic look. "No pressure. The inn is actually very nice." Something about the warmth in his eyes made her decision easy. "I'd love to stay with you both, if it's truly not an imposition." Over the next 3 days, Zara fell into the rhythm of life with Hank and Lily. During the day while Lily was at school, she worked on her laptop at Hank's kitchen table, taking video calls and managing her company remotely. But instead of the usual 14-hour workdays, she found herself closing her computer when Lily came home, joining them for activities she'd never have made time for in her normal life. Hank showed her his workshop, a converted barn behind the cabin where he created stunning furniture from local woods. His latest piece was a dining table commissioned by a restaurant in Aspen, the surface inlaid with a mountain scene that took her breath away. "This is incredible," she said, running her fingers over the smooth surface. "You should be charging 3 times what you quoted them," he shrugged. "Maybe, but I like knowing regular folks can afford my work too. But you're undervaluing your skill. This is art, Hank. I do all right. We have what we need." But Zara noticed things around the cabin, the roof that needed repair, Lily's winter coat that was a size too small, the ancient truck that Hank nursed along with constant maintenance. Pride kept him from admitting how tight things really were, especially in winter when construction jobs were scarce. On her 3rd night, after Lily had gone to bed, Zara found Hank at the kitchen table, frowning over bills. "Problem?" she asked, pouring them both a cup of the herbal tea he favored in the evenings. He quickly gathered the papers. "Just the usual end-of-month juggling act." Zara sat across from him. "Can I ask you something personal?" "Seems fair. You've answered about 100 of Lily's personal questions." "Why do you stay here? With your talent, you could work anywhere, make a much better living in Denver or even Aspen." Hank was quiet for a moment. "This was my parents' place. Dad built it himself. When they died, I promised I'd keep it in the family, give Lily the same kind of childhood I had." He looked out the window at the snow-covered mountains. "Besides, those places, they're not me. I tried city living when I was younger, felt like I couldn't breathe." "I understand that," Zara said softly. "Sometimes I wonder what it would be like to just stop." The constant meetings, flights, decisions affecting thousands of people. It never ends. "But you've built something remarkable," Hank said. "Lily's research said your company created that software that helps diagnose rare diseases. That was one of our subsidiaries, but yes, we did. See. That matters. That's changing lives." Their eyes met across the table, and Zara felt a connection that went beyond attraction. Here was someone who saw her, not the CEO, not the power suit and boardroom persona, but her. On the morning of the fourth day, Marco called to say her SUV was repaired. Zara felt an unexpected pang of disappointment. "I guess I'll be heading out tomorrow," she told Hank and Lily over dinner. "But you just got here," Lily protested. "Lily," Hank said gently, "Miss Evans has important work to get back to." "It's Zara, please," she corrected, meeting his eyes. "And yes, I do need to get back, but I've enjoyed my time here more than I can say." After Lily went to bed, Zara and Hank sat by the fire as had become their custom. The atmosphere between them felt charged, both aware their time together was ending. "I had an idea I wanted to run by you," Zara said carefully. "It's about your furniture." "What about it?" "My company is renovating our headquarters. We're looking for sustainable, artisan-crafted furnishings. Would you be interested in submitting a proposal?" Hank's expression grew guarded. "Is this a pity contract?" "Absolutely not," Zara said firmly. "I've seen your work. It's exceptional. This is me recognizing quality and wanting it for my company. The fact that I like you has nothing to do with it." She paused. "Well, maybe it got your foot in the door, but the work will speak for itself." He considered this. "I'd need to hire help. It would be a big job. You'd be well compensated, and it could lead to more corporate commissions." "I'll think about it," he promised. They sat in silence for a while, watching the flames dance in the fireplace. "What happens after you leave?" Hank finally asked, his voice low. Zara looked at him. "What do you want to happen?" "I'm not sure it matters what I want. We live in different worlds, Zara." "Do we?" She moved to sit beside him on the couch. "I've been happier these past few days than I can remember being in years." "It's the mountain air," he joked, but his eyes were serious. "No, it's you and Lily, this place." She gestured around them. "The life you've built here." His hand found hers, warm and calloused against her smoother skin. "I'm just a small-town carpenter with a lot of responsibilities. And I'm just a workaholic who forgot how to live outside the office." She squeezed his hand. "Maybe we both have something to learn from each other." When Hank kissed her, it felt like the most natural thing in the world. His lips were gentle but confident, his hand coming up to cup her face with surprising tenderness. The next morning, Zara packed her things with mixed emotions. She had responsibilities, a company to run, but the thought of returning to her sterile penthouse apartment felt hollow after the warmth of the cabin. Lily gave her a tight hug before leaving for school. "You'll come back, right? You promised to help with my science project next month." Zara met Hank's eyes over his daughter's head. "I did promise, didn't I?" After Lily left for school, Hank drove Zara to Marco's garage to pick up her SUV. "I've been thinking about your proposal," he said as they neared town. "For the furniture contract, I'd like to submit a bid." Zara smiled. "I'm glad. But I want to be clear it needs to be strictly business, no special treatment." "Understood, though I should warn you I can be a demanding client," he smiled. "Somehow that doesn't surprise me." At the garage, they stood beside her repaired vehicle, neither quite ready to say goodbye. "Thank you," Zara said. "For everything. Drive safely. The passes should be clear, but take it slow." She nodded, then impulsively reached up to kiss him. "I'll call you when I get back to Denver." "I'd like that." As Zara drove away, watching Hank grow smaller in her rearview mirror, she felt not like she was returning to real life, but like she was leaving it behind. The next month passed in a whirlwind of activity. Hank submitted his furniture proposal and won the contract fairly, his designs impressing even Zara's most skeptical board members. Zara made the 3-hour drive to Pinecrest every weekend, helping Lily with her science project and spending evenings with Hank. Their relationship deepened, despite the distance. They spoke every night by phone, and Zara found herself sharing things she'd never told anyone: her fears, her dreams beyond the corporate world, the pressure she felt as a woman in her position. Hank listened, offered perspective without judgment, and shared his own struggles raising Lily alone, keeping the business afloat, his fears of not being enough for his daughter. In April, As the mountain snow began to melt, Zara surprised herself by bringing up a possibility she'd been considering. "What would you think about me getting a place here?" she asked Hank as they walked along a forest trail behind his cabin. "Nothing big, just somewhere I could work from more often." He stopped walking. "Are you serious?" "I am. I could be here Thursday through Monday most weeks. The board's been pushing me to delegate more anyway. Being away from headquarters might actually force me to do it." "And your life in Denver?" "My life is wherever I choose to make it." She took his hands. "These past months being here with you and Lily, it's shown me what I've been missing. I don't want to miss it anymore." Hank pulled her close. "Are you sure? This is a big change." "I've never been more sure of anything," she smiled. "Besides, Lily needs help with her math homework and you're hopeless with fractions." He laughed, then grew serious. "I need you to know something. I'm falling in love with you, Zara Evans. Not because you're helping my business or because you're some powerful CEO. Just because you're you." "That's good," she replied, "because I'm already in love with you, Hank Edwards. Not because you rescued me from a snowstorm or because you make amazing pancakes. Just because you're you." By summer, Zara had purchased a small cabin 10 minutes from Hank's. By fall, she'd renovated it to include a state-of-the-art home office. Her company thrived under her new management style, and Hank's furniture business expanded with the success of the Pinnacle Technologies Commission, allowing him to hire 2 local craftsmen. Lily blossomed with Zara's presence in her life, finding in her both a role model and a friend. Zara discovered the joy of weekend hikes, stargazing on clear mountain nights, and the simple pleasure of family meals where business was rarely discussed. One year after the snowstorm that had stranded her, Zara stood in Hank's workshop, watching him put the finishing touches on a rocking chair. "It's beautiful," she said, running her hand along the curved arm. "A commission?" "No," he smiled mysteriously. "This one's special." "For who?" Hank set down his tools and took her hands. "For us, for our front porch." "We have rockers already," Zara said, confused. "Not at the new place." "What new place?" Hank reached into his pocket and pulled out a small wooden box, carved with the same mountain scene as his first major commission. When he opened it, a diamond ring nestled inside caught the afternoon light. "I thought maybe we could find a place together. Somewhere with enough room for all of us. A fresh start." He took a deep breath. "Zara Evans, will you marry me? Be Lily's stepmother. Build a life with us." Tears filled Zara's eyes as she nodded. "Yes, to all of it, yes." As he slipped the ring onto her finger and pulled her close, Zara marveled at how a wrong turn in a snowstorm had led her exactly where she needed to be all along. 6 months later, they married in a small ceremony beside the lake near their new home, a spacious cabin Hank had designed and built himself, with both a workshop for him and an office for her. Lily stood proudly as Zara's maid of honor, beaming as her father and the woman who had become her second mother exchanged vows. Zara still ran her company, but now with a team of executives who handled the day-to-day operations while she focused on innovation and strategy. Hank's furniture was featured in design magazines, and he'd begun teaching woodworking classes at the local community center. Their life together wasn't perfect. They had disagreements, schedule conflicts, and the occasional clash of city versus country perspectives. But each challenge only strengthened their commitment to each other, and the life they were building on winter nights, they still sat by the fire, sometimes talking for hours, sometimes content in comfortable silence. And whenever a snowstorm raged outside, Zara would smile and thank the weather that had stranded her, the twist of fate that had sent Hank down that road at just the right moment, and the courage they'd both found to bridge their different worlds and create something beautiful together.